We'll go ahead and start off with invocation. Let's go ahead. 14, we're a quorum. We'll go ahead and start. We'll go ahead and ask Senator Tamale, invocation, man. Oh, thank you. The time is 12:25, September 14th, Thursday. Time, if you like. So we'll go ahead and start off with Black Lodge roll call. Special session.
Yeah, sugar. Rogers, Black Lodge.
White plate, Black Lodge here.
Hill, I don't go back here.
No, we have to read it here.
Young Trail Lodge Grass here. Grove on, Lodge Grass. All them big one here.
Deputy Big One here.
Deep green or shallow drip.
Come on, Big Lou down here.
Hugs, Aqua here. Good luck, man, here.
Bird ground, Bottle over there here.
Real Bird Mileage Few.
Kelly?
Yeah.
15 present. I went to Paul Spotted Horse, Paul Good. He has an appointment, doctor's appointment, so he's not here. Yeah, Sean Realbert couldn't call him, good. So he has prior engagements that he already planned out a while back ago. And Ellie was here just now, so I don't know if it's on it. So, and then Toby Class Boyd. He's one of our students over here at Woodburn College. I just gotta go pick up a paper and come right back. So with that, I think we're good to go. So we'll go ahead and start off. I wanted to recognize Chairman Not Afraid and guests right now, and also Vice Chairman Carson goes ahead. And so we'll go ahead and move on and visit guests. And then we'll go ahead and for review and adoption of the agenda, I would need a motion. Motion by Senator Bryce Hugs. Second by Senator Three Irons. All in favor, raise your right hand. 15. Yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. We'll go on to legislative resolution confirming nomination of the board member to Upsala Nation Health Board. Right now, I want to go ahead and at the time we got back in September 14th, 2016, we went ahead and had a committee meeting for RIA at that time, and we were waiting for the other two health board appointments, and we didn't get any, so we're waiting on those two, and this has taken that long. So with that, we had a committee recommendation at the time, so we'll go through the protocol, speaker's protocol. So this was designated in a Health and Human Committee. And Chair Levy, as you know, Health and Human Services Committee. So at the time, confirmation process is eligibility. If you look in your rule books, we'll go ahead and that Rule 31 legislative confirmation procedures. So at this time, we would go ahead, for the record, Bryson Rogers is present. So we'll go ahead, and legislation was introduced by, at the time, the executive back in September. So with that, we had a committee meeting, motion was made, we had a 30-minute, so at this time, okay, so at this time, you guys take a look at it in your packets. We back in a resolution of the Crow Tribe Legislature to confirm the nomination of the board members to the Upsaga Nation Health Board. This was LR 17, introduced by the Health and Human Service Committee. So at this time, we would read that into okay. Okay. So at this time, I would request Ria goes ahead to the podium over here, and we can go ahead and ask questions at this time. Presentation, lead.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna make it. You say that.
Point of order, we need to read that LR into,
Okay. Okay.
whoever's, committee chair is, whoever wants to.
Okay. Okay. Then on that, we have to read the LR into record. Just for a point of clarification, LR, there needs to be some corrections. Yeah, Brenda. I apologize, our lawyer, she's on it, so at this time, the appointment was made by the previous chairman, and when we were there. So that would be with the new appointment that he turned in today, would be for appointment there, Nick Babish, and then keep down for the House Board. Go ahead, Chairman.
At this time, I wanted to reconfirm this goes ahead, as well as either Lori Weasel or House or Buddy
Okay.
Rogers
with-
as that. But yeah, I want to respectfully request that the letter of appointment be accepted by the committee chair.
Okay, for Ria.
Yes.
Go with that, and then we have to go with Black Lodge. It's 9 days in the city. So with Black Lodge and Lodgegrass, went ahead and chose.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. Whoever you choose.
Okay.
I just threw names out there.
Okay, and then Black Lodge, it's up to those guys if you want to talk with them real quick.
Yeah, we already discussed, so
Okay.
he's gonna go ahead and.
Okay, and then after that, we still have to have a committee meeting with those guys. But Rita has already done a while back ago, so he reaffirms it. So we'll just go ahead and proceed.
I had a question on that request from the executive. I don't believe that the appointment from the vice chair was valid, but I'm on the same page as the qualification and the history and knowledge of being on the board that Ms. Jose has.
Okay.
So I just wanted that to be on the record as well, because I didn't delegate that to the vice chair. Therefore, I don't deem it valid.
So, well, what happened was, I believe we already had it was already appointed back in September of 14, and we were waiting for the other two. And then we haven't, we didn't get no appointments from them. And then there was a transition period, and I think it was February 9th, and since what I detailed, that we sent the letters to you. So then after that, so we'll go ahead and move forward, and we'll go ahead and read this LR into the record. Rhea, we want to go ahead and have a seat, and we'll go ahead and go from there. At this time, we'll go ahead and read the LR into the record. All right. Go ahead and September 14th special session 2017 special session Crow Tribal Legislature LR number 17 blank introduced by Health and Human Service Committee a legislative resolution titled a resolution of the Crow Tribe Legislature to confirm nomination of the board member to the Upsalaga Nation House Board. I would need a motion. Motion by Senator Gozed, second by Senator Hugs. Senator Dietrich, sorry. My apologies. All right. Legislative finding. Whereas the Crow Tribal Legislature, hereafter legislator, has the power and duty under the Article 5, Section 2 of the Crow Tribal Constitution to promulgate and adopt a resolution in accordance with the Crow Tribal Constitution, federal laws, and tribal laws for the governance of the Crow Tribe, and whereas the Crow Tribal Health Board, hereafter Health Board, has established by CLB number 10-01, titled an act to establish a Crow Tribal Health Board and establishing authority, duties, and responsibilities of the Upsalaga Nation Health Board. It is the tribal administrative body representing the Crow Tribe in meetings with the federal government on the health care matters to advise the tribal government on health care budgets, policies, and the programs, and to provide oversight for the federal and tribal health care programs and services, and to carry out other duties as assigned by the executive branch or tribal laws. And whereas the legislature has the lawful authority to confirm nominations by the Crow Tribal Chairman of the Health Board pursuant to CLB number 10-01, and whereas district nominations have been submitted for the position of the Health Board who represent, this one would be probably just prior district, September 14th, and whereas Chairman A.J. Nonafried has requested the appointment for Rita Gozed for the Arrowquid District, so cross out Lost Grass and Black Lodge, for the unexpired vacant staggered terms of those districts. And whereas on September 14th, the Health and Human Service Committee held a confirmation hearing on the record and by secret ballot vote officially recommend confirmation by the full legislature for the respective district health board nomination, meeting all lawful requirements including qualifications, residence, and all deemed fully capable of fulfilling the duties of the position. And whereas in the imperative imperative and in the best interest of the Crow tribe to ensure a fully functioning Crow tribal health department, including a duly constituent health board. Now therefore be it hereby resolved by the Crow tribal legislature in special session that the following individuals are legislatively confirmed as the member of the Crow Tribal Health Board and shall exercise all authorities and duties in accordance with the Crow Tribal Law and applicable federal law upon entering the oath of office. Rhea Gozhead, representing the Arrow Creek District for a fourth term commencing on September 14th and ending May 28th, 2020. Be it further resolved, this legislative resolution shall take effect immediately upon becoming duly adopted by the legislative. All right. So at this time, we'll go ahead and move forward for a 30-minute presentation. So, Rita, you approach the podium and
thank you, Legislative Body Chairman, Vice Chairman, all the people that are here. A couple of corrections. September 14th, Henry Pretty on top was also part of the group that time.
yeah.
He's become the CEO for the Tribal Health Department, so he's not here today. And then another thing, I think this would be starting my third term. I came on board 2010. So this would be the third term. So just a couple of corrections. Yeah, I am a retiree of Indian Health Service. July of 2000, I worked for Indian Health Service for 26 years that I worked for Indian Health Service. So being on the health board has been my field because, you know, coming from Indian Health Service. So I've enjoyed being on the committee. Not only that, but for me, looking out for the people of our tribe, and that's our passion. Because even from the beginning, when the chairman at the time didn't recognize us, and we had no budget, we volunteered, I think, for quite a while. We had our meetings monthly with Pete Conway, Garfield Lulite, Latana Holdout is our chairwoman, so she would always get them here, and you know, we kept on board with the Indian Health Hospital, and I believe it's good to have a watchdog, you know, from the tribe to kind of keep things going. So we've been active in that way, and then under the next chairman, Darren really empowered us, and you know, wrote a letter and backed us up, and then we got on the budget, and so you know, our chairperson, they go to the monthly or weekly, I believe, executive meetings to find out what's going on with the hospital. And I know there's a lot of things that need to be done over there, and we got a really not good CEO for a while there, but then he had to leave because of medical reasons, but he did a lot of improvements over there. And so I believe it's good to have a health board. And I know, we know the people there. Some of them are my colleagues I've worked with through the years, and even the president when we were Upward Bounders, Dorothy Dupree. I've known her for many years, back in the 70s, I believe. So, you know, it's good to have that rapport, you know, with some of the people that we know. Even though I'm on the tribal part now, I'm not on the IHS part, and we attend their budget meetings, and we're pretty active in that. So even right now, we're still, you know, we don't have a budget going, but the group, we're still volunteering, we're still getting active, and still, because my heart is for the Crow people. My heart is for helping to make sure that our people get the quality care with what we have here. But you know, that we have a hospital, we have a clinic in Pryor, we have a clinic in Lodge Grass, and but somebody has to be on top of it. Like I'm saying, you know, these outsiders, sometimes they may take advantage of us, and you know, sometimes they can't talk for themselves, and you know, we can be that voice for them. And so I'm glad to be on the health board. I just wanted to share that with you. Again, being from Indian Health Service and understanding a lot of their, even budget stuff, I'm on top of things like that. And so I don't know what else to tell you, but that's, my heart is with the people. My heart is for the Crow tribe. And so helping them with the health board is very good for me to help them any way we can. Sometimes I'm in prayer. I go and try to check things out over there. Sometimes I go incognito just to see how things are going. And then, because somebody has to do that. They run over us, so the health board is very important. I just wanted to tell the chairman that. And then if you can empower us, even with a letter, that would really be beneficial for us as a health board also, like the former chairman did. And then for your information, he would sometimes come in on selecting people, for some of the positions over there, and that was really helpful. If you show up, they're gonna walk the line too. So, with the health board, I just wanted to throw that out also. And because I think they know that the Crows are on top of things, the doctors, the people there, I believe they're gonna try to do things the right way. And that's the way I always look at it in that light. So again, if there's any other questions you would like to just ask, that's all I have for right now.
For the questions, we'll reserve that for debate. We'll reserve that. But please, okay, we'll just go ahead and have a seat at this time. This was designated in the committee for recommendation by under the Health and Human Service Committee. That was I, myself, Eric Verdeground. So at the time, we had a committee meeting September 14th, 2016, and we did a swear-in committee. And that's it. And this is just for the record, third term, not going? No. Okay. So at this time, it was the committee's approval was to approve and onto the floor. And that time, motion I think it was Senator Sean Gilbert motion place. Senator Hill second question place and it was for approval. So with that, we'll go ahead and go on to motion to bring it out of committee and onto the floor. So now we'll go ahead and proceed for debate. So we'll go ahead and go on to the floor for the debate. Does any senators have any questions for Ms. Kozev? I just wanted to make it clear too that questions pertaining to the health board and stuff like that. So does anybody have any questions? We're going into debate. Go ahead, Senator Melgar.
Thank you, Speaker, Secretary, body, guests, Chairman, everybody here. Rhea, when was the last time that the Health Board had a meeting?
Last month.
And what was involved in that?
Let's see, I got my notes here. We had a meeting, but it wasn't a quorum, so it became an informational meeting, and that was that was just last month that we had that meeting. So this informational meeting, I'll put Henry pretty on top as the CEO for the Tribal Health Department. So kind of gave us what was going on there, and then T pretty on top is the Tribal Health Director. So he gave us a briefing on what's happening over there with the Tribal Health Department. So that's all we did was just an informational meeting. We're scheduling a meeting next week also.
What production, what has been went on there getting better or is it getting worse? This kind of-
You know, when we came on board, the tribe, the Indian Health was kind of in a bad condition. They had a survey or an audit done by CMS, that's for Medicare, Medicaid. They just about lost everything. And so we were there as the health board, and they had to do a lot of improvements in the hospital. I can't see you, Tuggy. I'm talking like this to you. So they had to do a lot of improvements, and we had to go into the meetings. We were there at the hospital. There was a lot of deficiencies. They had a long list of deficiencies at the hospital. And so they had to improve in emergency, and a lot of things were going on. We have the report on that, the CMS audit report that time. And they had a deadline. If they didn't do the improvements, they would have lost. I think CMS is the Medicare, Medicaid money that comes in. They provide 50% of the funding for the hospital. So that was very critical that time. And so we would go there and meet with the CEO at the time. And then after that, the other CEO that came, I think Clayton Odell was the CEO for a while. And then the next one, I'm trying to remember, Wolanski. He's got a kind of a difficult name. But he came on board and we worked with him. He was a very money-making kind of guy. And so he did a lot of improvements that same day clinic. He's the one that established that. He began to improve things with the doctors, for the doctors, because one of the major complaints we get is people come in and they have to wait for a long time for even if they had walk-ins. That was one of the major complaints with the Crow Hospital. So we worked with that CEO at the time. He was a tribal health director. He had all kinds of knowledge, that individual that came as CEO, because a CEO has to be kind of like a money-making kind of guy, and so, or a woman, and that's what he was. And so he made sure, and they had to, the doctors, there was kind of like a clique with the doctors where I think they were more there at that time for the money, not for the patients. And so they've been emphasizing patient care number one, and let them go for the patient instead of just doing their thing. So when he came on board, they had to break that thing up. And some of the doctors left, but it was kind of good in a way because fresh doctors came in that had more of a vision for the people. And so he did a lot of improvements that time. And I think right now he was working on getting a CAT scan here. They were doing the building. We have to find out the update. They always update us on what was going on at the hospital. So the CAT scan, if they can get that thing going, then we won't be losing money, because we have to ship somebody to Hardin in an ambulance and pay for the ambulance cost, and then you send them back. You have to pay for the ambulance cost, and it's a lot of money. You waste a lot of money that way. So what he was trying to do was get that CAT scan, and the building was being built right now. So we got to find out where we're at that. We've been waiting for that, and trying to get. I think the reason we don't have people, the labor room and all of that there is that they're not up to par with, I guess, qualifications and all that. So that's been a thing we've been working on, so that they can deliver babies here again instead of going to Billings. The ambulance service is something that's been Hardin has been monopolizing on that. They make a lot of money with the ambulance, and so we're kind of looking at trying to get people to do the EMT, what they call it, EMTs. But that is also a thing that's been up in the air, because we don't have Crows that are willing to be EMTs, to be trained for it. It's a 24-hour call, and so that's been a problem in that way. So that's been a thing with the ambulance. And then we kind of see what's going on with the nursing home, and they brief us about what's happening with the nursing home over there. We're not part of the board, but we still keep on top of it. So there has been a lot of improvements in that way with this clique of doctors that kind of quit after a while, and the doctors are working. They were upset because Bobonsky was making them do 20 minutes for each patient and try to see more patients during a day, where I guess they were taking their time before, and so they didn't like that because he was making them do more things like that. And then we've had the new CEO come on board. So we've worked with the CEO, and then the health committees will come sometimes, and we've tried to kind of have a group with the tribal, the legislature body, the tribal health department, and then the CEO, and then he'll bring some people in, and we're trying to be on top of everything, and we're all trying to work together. So it's been a productive time, and we're trying to get more training. I think last year, twice we've gone to the annual health board meet, the national. One was in Billings, and last year went to Scottsdale, and so those gives us more ideas, how to operate as a health board also. So there's been a lot of stuff going on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Senator Melber. At this time, Senator Alden.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Speaker, Secretary, Vice Chairman, Chairman, guests, body. Just comment a little bit on background. This bill, they handed out copies earlier. Bill CLB 1001. It's a bill. It establishes the bill for enacting title, establishing Crow Tribal Health Board, and establishing authorities and duties and responsibilities of the Upsala Nation Health Board. Back in 2010, this board was established, and at that time, it was the need to establish this board was some of these reservations that their health boards are strong. Some of these reservations that if they need somewhere to run, they'll run to that health board. And like I said, I think this past couple of years, or maybe the year, it fell on us that we ran out of quorum. Sometimes there was some not attending, I know, and there's a process in here. If they don't attend, then there's subject to removal. Otherwise, everything's set out in this duties and powers of this board. If you guys read through it, some of the situations that we've ran through is, I just want to go and read it just to refresh everyone what these duties and powers are of this board. First, represent the Crow Tribal Government in meeting directly with the staff of the United States Indian Health Service Department of the Health and Human Services and regarding Indian healthcare policy, funding concerns, policy discussions, as well as healthcare, health service provisions and specific to the Crow Tribe. 2, review and make recommendations to the branches of Crow Tribal Government regarding budgets, healthcare service-related programs under the Crow Tribe Government, and proposed existing Crow Tribal Cheyenne hospital policies and procedures. That's sometimes a question you guys always have. Under that one. 3, review and monitor progress of programs and services performed by the Crow Tribal Government under contract with the branch of federal government, when those programs and services involve provisions of healthcare related services to the Crow Tribal members, or when the contract is directly with the United States Department of Health and Human Services. 5, review programs and services performed by the Crow Northern Cheyenne Hospital annually in accordance with the goals and priorities identified by the board. 6, meet with the staff. Listen to this one. Meet with the staff of the Crow Northern Cheyenne Hospital to review and report on the status of the facility to the elected officials of the Crow Tribal Government. That one's the key one you guys sometimes forget. Sign and uphold the confidentiality statement of the relation and duties of the board members. And this last one, perform projects assigned by the Health Department Head of Executive Branch. Okay, perform project assigned by the Health Department Head of Executive Branch. So who's that right now? I believe that's Henry. Okay, so maybe he has some issues and he wants, and then it goes on, or as directed by the Crow Executive Branch officials and the Crow Tribal Legislature pursuant to the duly enacted laws of accordance of the Crow Tribe. Okay, all those right there that we talked about, and we need to empower these guys. We said back then, this was what, 6 years ago, that we came out with a letter that we wanted, instead of jumping over them and looking over them, you guys elect them from each district. Let's empower them. Let them do their jobs. Everything that we state in here, let's let them do that. But like I said, I think we didn't have a quorum here within the last year, and that kind of fell on us. That fell on us and the Chairman Executive Branch, that there was no quorum but that too. So now we're doing that. We're trying to get them a quorum. Let's get them going again. And I just wanted to, like I said, just remind you, read this. Everything's in here. Let's empower them and let's get them going again. That way we don't have to micromanage on our end and let them do their jobs. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I believe that was CLB 10-01. Go just that. Okay. All right, at this time, Senator, good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members, guests, legislative officials, executive officials. One of the things I'd just like to address is it's good that we're going to get a CT scan and they're going to work on that construction soon. One of the things was ambulance. When we need the ambulance, it takes almost an hour, 45 minutes for the ambulance to get well. So we as executive and the legislative need to sit down and try to figure out how we can either purchase an ambulance for the district, Lodge Grass, Wyola there, that we need one there. I mean, we all got stories of ambulance not getting there in time when people have strokes or a car wreck, whatever. We need to find out an avenue. And nurses, we know that, and you know that, you worked with them for 30 years there. We have a lack of nursing. So what I'm thinking is that we got to sit down, like I said, and put in the budget there where we can allocate at least some money there, $20,000, $15,000, in order to do bonuses for these nurses when they come. That's how we recruit. Like they recruit $2,500 sign goals, $5,000 sign goals. That's what we got to look at. We got to look into things like that. That's just an avenue we should take in our X-ray machine. That X-ray machine, we need a new one. Like the other day, that broke down and then they couldn't do X-ray machines on some of the patients that were in the ER. Things like that. We gotta address them as officials and as people from the board. Like I said, clinics. Like if we get on the phone right now and we call Lodge Grass and we say, "Can we see a doctor?" I don't think there's going to be any openings. So things like that, we gotta strive for us as officials and as you. Strive to have that, so where we can, if we need to see a doctor today, we can see a doctor today. But like I said, I have faith in you. I know you're going to speak up for not only Prior, but for a while, ambulance services. That's what we really need something. And recruitment, we need to get on this. Whoever's in charge of recruiting the nurses, we need to get on them and tell them we need these nurses, because like I said, we don't have, we can't have the upstairs operating at the time. Outpatient, inpatient stuff. Like I said, those are just some things I'd like to address. That we do need to try to recruit these nurses so we can get the facility running the way it should be run. Not only that, doctors too. So thank you.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's close that.
Yeah, we're well aware of the doctors, nurses not getting equivalent pay with the private sector. So, but Indian Health Service has a lot of red tape. So they're working on that, trying to get more pay for nurses so it could be attractive for them to come work with us. And then with the doctors also, because a lot of them outside, they get more money. So we're well aware of that. We've had discussions on that. But I think they're trying to put in recommendations for that. When they have the budget formulation, IHS budget formulation, that's why it's important that we have tribal representation. When I go, when they tell us about it, we go there because that's when they set priorities for Indian Health Service for the Billings area. And we can put our input in there. Some other tribes, the whole executive, all the executive people show up, your chairman, vice chairman. For the Crow tribe, it's just usually the tribal health department and maybe some health board members show up. But we have some input into that, if we get involved in it with the budget formulation for IHS. So the red tape is there. I think the CAT scan building is built already. But we got to find out where we're going in that direction right now. So there's things we're aware of, like that the ambulance thing. I think it was Dr. Upchurch. They have the monopoly on it over at Hardin. So that's been something that Henry Pridiant's been working on, always mentioning that something's got to be done with the ambulance, that we can improve in that way. The tribe in operating their own.
Hold up. Good. All right, go ahead, Eugene.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chairman, Secretary, Chairman, everybody. Yes. My question is, there's two concerning questions of mine, Rhea. We've been talking here and I've been listening. But I want this question of mine to be on my perspective. We understand that sometimes the patients are being transferred to buildings. Like one thing that there's a lot of issues containing that. But one thing that you mentioned was having pregnancies, having a natural born here delivery. Now, if you send them to buildings, who pays for that?
That's a good question. I don't know. Sometimes they might be covered under Medicare, or maybe a contract health might be covering it. We'll have to check into that. Contract.
Okay, all right, good. Now, in the conclusion with that, how about the rest of them? Like MRI if we don't have such things like that. Then the other thing is too that I've been hearing through the reservation that ISS don't have any money. They don't have any money. They don't have any money. Why are they sending people over the buildings? Is it because they don't want to get that Medicaid? Is it because we don't have the right facility to go here?
Sending them over to buildings that should understand.
There are a lot of times we were sent to buildings. That's what I mean. Like anything, like bad vibration, anything that they can't handle, like a KGAG or the heart attacks, they send them to buildings.
If it's approved and it's a referral by Indian Health Service here, they'll cover it. You have to be careful. Referral, you have to find out. Ask them, is Contact Health paying or are you on your own? So referral, it's anymore. And the thing with our budget that's an ongoing issue, even when we went to Tucson, or not Tucson, but Phoenix last year, our level of funding is the same with Indian Health Service. It's really bad, our funding for Indian Health nationwide. And then with the Billings area or the Crow area, our population has increased, but we're still on the same funding from many years back here. And then not only that, but here, because we're close to Billings, other tribal people do leave. So it's like they just have a small pot of money trying to take care of everybody. So in the Indian Health, that's been an ongoing thing, even with the national meeting, that they need to improve on their funding, try to get increases. So that's why Medicare, private insurers are really important. Third-party billing, get them go to the hospital. And that's the thing with the CEO, the ones in charge, that our hospital has to do a patient first, improve their services, so people with these insurance, third party, it could be Medicare, Medicaid, they can come to the hospital so they can bill for that services. So Medicare, they're getting money from Medicare, third-party billing, that brings in a lot of money to Indian Health Service. So that's kind of a thing that Indian Health hospitals are working on. If we don't provide the services here, they're going to go to outside providers. Nadia Hardin, that one doctor left and started that community health clinic in Hardin, and they're trying to pull people away from there. So the patient care is very important right now. So they're looking at ways of trying to bring in money to Indian Health Service, and then trying to improve the budget and increase that. So I guess that's going to take senators and people trying to get more money for Indian Health Service nationwide. So same level, but yet the population has increased. So that's why lack of money getting going out.
To your presentation, I care and I love the Crow people in Nagalaga. That's what you told me. That's what you told everyone here. And like ordinance gun district could constitution gun military could. The constitution is given the power and authority. And then he also mentioned, why are we not in quorum? Isn't all the board don't have that heart, or what?
It happened to miscommunication on the dates that we gave. One of them did show up that day. But normally they come. Except I think Black Lodge, we couldn't seem to get the individual there all through the time we were there. And, hopefully they'll get somebody for Black Lodge to attend the meetings. But in spite of that, we kept going and going. Because once we have a forum, we're okay. But then this last meeting, it was because of the lack of time for that.
Okay, so in other words, you're telling me that as everybody's being in a rightful place, and it should be okay. Then we don't have to, as the legislators, we don't have to micromanage the situations, right?
Yeah, if we get empowered and we can operate and follow our policy, we'll be okay. The thing that he read that we look at, because we read this and we get acquainted with it. You should know your constitution, you should know your policy and read it and so forth. One of them, if they miss 3 times, then the board should be the ones to see about getting them replaced with it. So those things we need to follow. And that's important. So sometimes if they don't show up all the time, then it kind of it hinders you. And
Yeah, that's my concern, yeah, because, if you got a love of a heart for your people, then everybody else should be too, as well as here.
and that's why I'm saying, even before, when they recognize us voluntarily, we came and had meetings every month. But I'm from prior. Cut off Bowie, and still we're volunteering because we're concerned about our tribe. So we're going to volunteer, we're still going to have meetings, that's what we're doing right now. So that's a heart for the people. That's what drives you, to have that compassion. You're going to work, you're going to help. And so the others are like that are on board. They want to help. And Betty J. LaForge is the one for Wyola. So we're concerned about our tribe.
Oh, Coach Dillon.
All right, thank you. The order of Senator Pat Allen, then you'll go to Senator D. Craig, and then to Senator Goodluck.
Just to clarify, what Milwaukee said, by experience, all you guys, and then there's ones you guys picked from each district, I believe, whatever, but I replied him, I call the name of Ben Ajay, Max Ajay, there was he kind of because there's over 100 years of experience he was on the floor. And he decided they all retired from the IHS, about 35 years of experience, so they actually have over 200 years of experience on this board. Just to give you guys a little clarification, I know Dan Gunshows has been 35 years retired, Henry's 35 years retired, I believe Rio did over 30 years, some of the other districts did over 30 years, so over 200 years of experience, my son.
Thank you. Go ahead, Senator D. Craig.
Question me the ambulance. Wapo wali lagi bawa ngasih hingga wapo will then very fluid hingga itu kasih. Itu wapo sudah ni mesti. Lagi orang there's a couple of years and make county still again was practically put the model now make clinic they go to yeah correct during the one correct looking to that
They have what they call SHEFAG, Catastrophic Health Emergency Fund. It comes from DC, and when they allocate so much to each area offices, the areas, and that's where when there's accidents that happen, car accidents, that's where they get the money. It could be ambulance, cover. But that one is an annual budget. Sometimes all the accidents that happen on the reservation, they take that money out, and sometimes they take a lot of money by August. That's another funding that comes in. ambulance today, it's a lot of money. It eats up the funds. So that's something I guess will make it a major thing to Cali Health Board. And then another thing I wanted to share is Tana as the chairwoman, quarterly report. I think for a while it got diverted or something, but I think she was correcting that because it went to one person. I don't know what happened. She tries to make her quarterly informational thing to hear, but we'll make that. I'll talk to them about that.
Thank you. At this time, we'll go ahead and go to Senator Goodluck and then to Senator Devon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Secretary, guests, members of the body, executive officials, visiting guests. Just pretty much just letting Ria know that, you know, the government, we're talking about technology in business, what, 10 years, 20 years ago? 20 years ago. I think we might have to look at an avenue since there's a lot of government cuts that they're cutting all across the board. IHS, I know, is at the bottom. BIA, the government wants to fund more parks and recs and national parks. BLM, they want to fund that more than they want to fund Indian healthcare. So I believe we shouldn't be, I don't know if you already looked into it, but I think we as a tribe, you know, we see that coming. So I think now we should start to look in an area of how we can, since the government's going to cut, that we should try to look into an avenue of looking into healthcare or insurance for tribal members. I think that's kind of and I know you guys probably met on that, but I just thought I'd address that. You know, that they're going to cut, and I don't know what avenue. Like I said, the federal government, they don't want to fund any of this stuff anymore. They'd rather fund national parks and BLM and stuff like that. So just throw that out there. Thank you.
We've had discussions on that, getting insurance, but again, it takes money to insure. Other tribes that are cash, like singles, that's what they're worried about. They're having their individuals insured, so that's been a matter of discussion with the law. And then I think it's important, chairman, officials here, that maybe you can contact the senators, Gaines and Tester, and, you know, share with them. Maybe you already have done that with the health, and that they, you know, try to get more funding for Indian health service. I think that's important as you folks are to run some leadership, and that would be a big plus for the tribe.
Okay, after Senator Kamali, go ahead.
With liability and such, I'd like to state something that there's a tragedy, a terrible loss of life of a child of mine, which happened on tribal property. And to this day, me and Clarice are still dealing with third-party liabilities because the services in prior denied them ambulatory services along with care. They told them when he acquired his burns at the Senior Citizen Center, they ran to the clinic and the director there told them to turn around, get in their car and drive our son to Billings, which they sat on the side of the road waiting for construction to pass them through, which didn't happen, and he ended up losing his life over these burns. And we're still dealing with third-party liability today. And at that time, I don't know who the director was, some Cheyenne lady, you know, accountability and things of that nature. He lost his life over that. And, you know, it happened on tribal ground. It happened where his grandmother was working. And we're still at a loss to this day. We're still battling it because we don't have answers. They never gave us answers of who's at fault and what the clinic in prior to done to have his life saved, but he lost his life over that, and we're still trying to straighten it out to this day with their liability and such. How would a person go about something like that?
Is that contract health refused you or should I?
Yeah. they took him when he was burnt. When he was burnt at the senior citizen, they ran with him to the clinic because he's acquired third-degree burns. And the director at the time told him that they can't handle a burn like that. They need to go take him to the hospital in Billings. So they turned him down, put him in their grandma's car, and rushed him to Billings. But they were sitting on the side of the highway because of construction.
And Indian Health Service and the clinic wouldn't even ask for the helicopter?
No, they didn't call the ambulance or nothing.
And then you're getting billed for the money?
Yeah, we're suffering a third-party liability.
Okay, and so with contract health, you try to appeal and everything?
We were talking to lawyers, but things like who's at fault, if the tribe had insurance for our son losing his life, morgue, things he had to be handled down there with the morgue and such. He had to be flown back from Salt Lake City. And among other things, these bills for being in the primary care hospital in Salt Lake City, Utah, they're just piling them up. They're just piling and sending them, and we don't know what to do because it happened at the senior citizen in the prime.
I know with contract health, if they refuse you, have an appeal process that you have to work with. So I just wondered.
Well, we looked into it, and I think there's a statute of limitations until his 18th birthday, when he passed away.
I think I'd be probably
God
just
willing, I
working
guess
on it.
we want someone held accountable because why was he denied services at that clinic? Why couldn't they call the ambulance for him? Instead, they got in the car and drove.
But
he lost his
is
life.
it becoming a legal issue? You got lawyers on it?
A little, not too much. Because we haven't got anything from Salt Lake City where he was handled by their morgue.
I would continue pursuing it legally.
One quick thing before Chairman, I just want to remind you, I know Pat knows about this, but any complaints has to be written and give it to the House Board of Cook, like Chief Jagoy Cook. So with that, go ahead, Chairman Alfred.
Thank you, Chair. Ribbon Ground. Body. Yes. As to what Senator Goodluck was talking about as far as being proactive, that's the topic I brought up. Second quarter, third quarter. And what's happening is we're continuing with a broken system even though we're trying to work with what we got. So the health board is good, but we need to charge the health board into looking into those additional options outside the privy of IHS. Because the board itself plays the rules, plays the game with IHS as to how to better it, but as you all know, those rules don't benefit. Because those rules are bureaucratic. Those rules are also geared towards civil service and so forth. So when you talk about healthcare, the private sector is a well better system for healthcare than your government systems. I have to say, VA across the nation is poor. VA in Sheridan, Wyoming is probably the best, but that still does not set the stage. It does set the stage where I brought it up to the Rear Admiral of IHS that why is it that same doctor makes twice or maybe 3 times more than the IHS doctors? And yet this is government. This is government. So you have, what do they call those, corpsmen or those enlisted that come to the IHS? Why is it that we have all these deficiencies, inconsistencies, presented to them, yet they turn around and say, what do the tribes want to do? And when they ask the tribes, what do the tribes want to do? The tribes just say, more money. We need this, we need that, we need this, we need that, which they already know, but the Senate is cutting your budget. Not the executive, the Senate. So when IHS turned back $100 million to Treasury, McCain says, they're still asking for more money, but why is IHS turning back money? They didn't expend all that money, and you're still asking for more money. So they ended up cutting on another $100 million because of that turnback. And that affects pro-country, no doubt. But the problem is, you're still trying to work with a system that's going under. And you're trying to save the sinking ship. So it's wise to hear Senator Goodluck as to how he said, look for alternative ways.
And we can go ahead and during amendments, we can go ahead and throw them in there, and we can do all three of them. And with that, we'll go ahead and have a committee meeting, and I believe we'll just recess for a little bit. And Kimmy's gonna go ahead and get lunch next door, and we'll have lunch, and we'll just go through. Go ahead, Mia.
In response to his, what he's saying, that's true, because we've looked at prior clinic, I think putting that under 638 contract or another means of operating it. Crow Hospital, I think solely, but we weren't sure if the tribe was ready to take over the whole hospital. Kevin Hall at Flathead, but that's a clinic there, but he took over the whole clinic over there. Kevin is a very administrative type of guy. I used to work with him in health service, and it took him over 10 years or so to finally get it functioning where they're really, taking care of everything themselves over there. He's real successful. He's a very interesting person to listen to when he's at meetings, but it wasn't overnight. It wasn't an overnight success, but he kept working at it. He was really dedicated to it too. So we need people like that, to work. And so if there's, it's possible that our chairman is talking about, but we need dedicated people, people with administrative type abilities, people that will take care of the funding and all of that. So prior clinic was kind of one thing we were looking at for a while. It hasn't, nothing was ever done upon it, but that was another thing. So I just wanted to share that with the chairman. We've looked into that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, very great points. And at the same time, you got to think outside the box, because when it comes to those qualifications, how many Crow doctors are there? Not saying Emerson Bochi or any of those guys, like medical doctors. How many medical doctors are there? Not very many. So as we looked at that obstacle that always came up,
sign-in sheet and
the problem is our conditioning
thing for
is
the
we want to
committee.
hire our own, which is okay.
Oh, so Lisa can do that.
Okay.
It's okay, but if you don't have that qualified, like I worked with Kevin as well, and we bounced this around, and he said his problem for having that system set up taking so long is because the politics intervened, and they wanted their people to be the secretaries, the nurses, the radiologists, people, whoever it needed to be staffed by. The point is if you want to capture things now, especially through the U.S. Senate, now's the time to attack while they're in favor of dissolving IHS.
Chairman, I think we need to go ahead and move on to, I want to say germane to the confirmations so we can get this going. So at this time, I would ask the body to have a recess and have the committee, and then we'll go ahead and get those two on there. The other show we got. Hopefully we can go ahead and get this going, this house board. So we'll go ahead. So at this time, I would need a recess. And we're going to come back after the committee meeting, and then we'll go ahead and we'll confirm with Bong as a body. Okay? Because I need a recess. Motion by Senator Rovan, second by Senator Whiteclay, question by Senator Rogers. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, we'll take a couple minutes break. And then we'll go ahead and they're going to bring lunch, so we're going to have a working lunch, lunch alone. So with that, thank you. The time, do I need to give the time there? Time is 1:31. Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and proceed. Am I correct? Okay, so with that, as Health and Human Committee, we had Lori House and Terry Whiteman. We had 15 committee members, and we had 15 yes and 15 no, or 15 or 0 no's and 0 abstain. So those two were from Black Loss, Lori House, Gonstras, Terry Whiteman. So onto the floor, and we would go ahead and move on to amendments. Am I correct, Secretary? Yep, come on, good. All right, so at this time, I would need a amendment, a motion to amend and to put Terry and Lori's name onto the LR. At this time, motion by Senator Groban, second by Senator Melber, and question by Senator Goodluck. All in favor, raise your right hand. Please keep your right hands up so we can come. So that Pat, okay. So that.
Finish your sentence.
14. 14 yes. Okay.
I don't know.
Do we, so roll call, what do you got? Okay. All right, so that motion has passed to amend, putting Lori House and Terry Whiteman's name, correction, whereas also
Well, then we need to have him here.
okay, this is where we would need a motion because of the 90 days exceeded, but we have appointment from the chairman, but yet we are past the 90 days. So the amendment right here would be whereas the legislature have requested appointments for Rhea goes ahead and Lori House and Terry Whiteman, so we would need a motion for that. Motion by Senator Hutz, second by Senator Groban, question by Tom Yellowtail. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, now we'll go ahead and move on to, we need a waiver for the second, no, not the reading, the vote, the secret ballot. The gift question, our rules, Rule 31, we have to do another secret ballot, but if we waive it, since we just had committee, we can go on to final roll call. Or, as second reading, couldn't waive up on, was amendment. So, motion by Senator Hill, second by Senator Groban, question by Senator Melgar. All in favor, raise your right hand. Oh, 15, okay, are we clear? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to final roll call vote, right, Senator Hill?
Yes.
All right. All right. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to Black Lodge District for final roll call vote.
Rogers, yes.
Whiteley, yes.
You, Al-Khabat, yes.
Nomi, yes.
Yoto, yes.
Groban, yes. Alden Begorn, yes.
Deputy, yes.
Deep Green, yes.
Donnie, yes.
Papua, yes.
Good luck, you go, Shrigat Chandra, yes.
Melbourne, Mighty Few, yes.
Bergenbaum, Bago Alphabet, yes.
Robert Badaki, yes.
Secretary has stated that it's 15 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. This LR has passed. All right, at this time, so we'll go ahead and ask 3 of the new appointed health board. Please come up to the podium there, or the bench. Sherry, we got our oath of office of the health board.
That's right.
Okay.
Could we do amendment today, but that way, the second reading of the amendment.
Yeah.
Tyson, second different.
Oh, Tyson said.
Yeah, Kobe. We need to be you.
Yeah.
All right.
Waive second
So at
reading.
this time, I would ask you to, state your name and read it. And read this part too, okay?
With amendments.
Legislative branch of the Crow Nation, certificate of oath of office of Zalia Nation Health Board, Terry Whiteman, Valley of the Chiefs. I, Terry Whiteman, do solemnly swear that I will administer justice and do equal right without respect to person, and will truly, faithfully, and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as a member of the Zalia Nation Health Board, according to the best of my abilities and understandings. So help me God.
All right, thank you.
Legislature branch of the Crow Nation, certificate of oath of office of Zalia Nation Health Board, Lori House, Black Lodge. I, Lori House, do solemnly swear that I will administer justice and do equal right without respect to persons, and will truly, faithfully, impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as a member of the Zalia Nation Health Board, according to the best of my ability and understanding, so help me God.
Oh.
I, Rita Rosenhead, Harold Creek, do solemnly swear that I will administer justice and do equal right without respect to persons, and will truly, faithfully, and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as a member of the Zalia Nation Health Board, according to the best of my abilities and understanding, so help me God.
Oh. Thank you. Why don't we go ahead and give these guys a round of applause? At this time, we're going to ask all the senators to come up here to do a photo op real quick. Am I right, Sherry?
Sure.
Okay. So, all senators, please come up here.
To healthcare. You know, we gotta let us go so we can get rid of them and move forward and get someone there that wants to help the people. Like I said, we gotta be there. If someone's there and they don't want to help, we gotta make that recommendation that falls on your shoulders and ours. Like I said, we gotta strive for good health care. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Philip. And I got itchy ways today that we have we're dedicated to the House Board here and moving forward. And I know that things during the transition period and stuff like we gotta move on and get business done. So at this time, I would like to ask the board members to say a brief, a whole nod we got to the senators. So go ahead, Rita. No.
Thank you very much for voting for us and having confidence in us. A couple of things. The next round, we're staggered terms, and I think the ones will end for Wyola, Reno, and then Bighorn, 2020. And I want to make a suggestion to be on board and get them ready before the 1920. And my term expired 2016. It's over a year and a half. So I just want to say, I don't know who's to do that. Our board has to get on board with the health committee, but that's one suggestion. The other thing is, we submitted a budget this year, but I know there's no money for that. But if it's all right, we'll do another budget for next year, just in case. So I just wanted to make those two comments and suggestions on the, nominating and confirming to be on top also. So thank you very much.
I'll try my best to everybody out and try to be there.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be on board with this health board, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you and working with all these ladies. Thank you.
I gotta make a correction. Pat said I said 1920, 2020.
Thank you. At this time, I want to thank everybody for that vote of confidence on the House board. So Rita and Terry and Lori, if you can relay a message that we should ask Rihanna to come in sometime to schedule a House board reporting. So we'll get back with us, and we'll go ahead and schedule that for all the senators here. So we'll go ahead and move forward. At this time, if you look at your agenda, we have the legislative resolution to confirm nomination of the Board of Managers to the Crow Nation Construction Company, LLC. This was designated in Senator Rogers' committee.
Thank you, Speaker, Secretary, members of the body, Chairman, Vice Chairman. Yes, my recommendation is to keep this in committee and further review this letter that, because we had no committee action on it, and maybe Monday I'll schedule a committee meeting. We'll look at the calendar.
Okay, thank you. The next one that's on the agenda is the resolution to approve administrative rules for the Crow Tribal Housing Authority. Senator Goodluck.
I think ask for a 5-minute, what do you call it, executive session, just to review this.
Okay, would that be a form of motion?
Form of a motion.
Okay, motion by Senator Goodluck, second by Senator Melbear. Question? Question by Senator Wilbur. All in favor, raise your right hand. Any noes? Any abstain? 15 yes, 0 noes, and 0 abstain. So at this time, I would like to, that we're going to have an executive session right now. So if you would, can you please step out the door? Everybody. Hang on. Get we go outside.
Motion, come out of executive.
Executive session's up, dude.
Okay, it was just to clarify, just for clarification. Okay. It was just for clarification on the LR, that's present on the next one. So, committee, Chair, why don't you just make a point of clarification. So, at this time, there is a motion to come out of executive session by Senator Goodluck and Senator Rohan. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Okay. So at this time, I'll go ahead. The time is 2:33, and we'll go ahead and, as I said, this legislative resolution to approve the administrative rules of the Crow Tribal Housing Authority was designated in Infrastructure Committee. Senator Goodluck.
At this time, I will keep this in committee and schedule a meeting as soon as possible, once I touch base with the commissioners and the lawyers. Thank you.
Okay. So that was in his committee, so we'll go ahead and move on to, do you guys want to adjourn or want to go into recess? I would need a motion to recess till next Tuesday. Motion by Senator Alden, second.
And there's no call, there's no. We'll read a little bit, we're trying to get caught up here.
Okay.
Who's seconded on that motion of yours?
Tyson.
Okay.
To send back to committee.
What was the vote?
Vote was unanimous, 15. We can take it over again. All in favor of putting it back into committee, raise your right hand.
Thank you.
We don't need one, all the chairman has to.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's, yeah.
Yeah, so we didn't need one, but if you want one, we can get one. All right, so at this time, to recess next Tuesday for a special session on the LLC Construction Company. Chair Senator Rogers has informed me on that, so next Tuesday we'll come into recess. I would need a motion. Motion by Senator Alden, second by Senator Groban. All in favor, raise your right hand. 15 yes, 0 no's, and 0 abstained. The time is 2:35. We'll go ahead and come back, recess. We are in recess, so we'll come back Tuesday at 10 o'clock. No announcements, checks are here. Go ahead, Senator Alden.